I'm here with Stephan Sorgner, and we're going to talk about transhumanism. We're in Lille at the Beyond Humanism Conference. So my first question for you is, why are you taking part in this meeting?
Well, I'm actually responsible for the entire conference series. So I've started it in 2009, and I'm the one who's regularly organizing it every year.
Okay.
So from 2009 onwards, I've been hosting it now it's the 11th time. It's the 11th Beyond Humanism Conference series, and it's something I've been doing. Well, we got into contact with David from here and realized that this is a perfect location for organizing the event. Last year I was invited to this university as a keynote speaker to a similar conference, but slightly smaller.
Okay, and what's the interest in talking about transhumanism and posthumanism?
Well, it is something which I've been pushing forward as an academic discipline. As a conference of the conference series, I established a book series. Then there was it was actually the first academic journal in the world which I established. It's entitled Journal of Posthuman Studies, and I realized that in cooperation with Penn State University Press. And just this year I launched another book series actually entitled Posthuman Studies. It's something I've been pushing forward as an academic discipline, but also something which I'm presenting as a philosophy. So I've published many books and essay collection in which I'm presenting different aspects of this, my own take on my own Nietzschean transhumanism. So it's a combination of my Nietzschean background plus some application to emerging technologies.
Okay. So what do transhumanism and posthumanism mean for our society in particular?
Okay, so firstly, when we talk about transhumanism and posthumanism, the notions have a different meaning actually in French than they do in the international context. In French, it's two words. Trans and posthumanism are two versions of a specific type of transhumanism, overcoming the human by means of emerging technologies. As the way we've been using it as part of the conference series and in the Anglo-American context in particular, so transhumanism and posthumanism are two different cultural traditions. Transhumanism is about amplifying the human, using technology to go beyond the boundaries of the human. And posthumanism, critical posthumanism, has more to do with a new understanding of who we are as human beings, a new non-dualist understanding. So we've always been cyborgs. We've always been a mixture of technologies and what we traditionally saw as human. And it's basically a way of trying to think about and to reflect upon the emerging technologies and all the great amount of challenges with which we have to deal with. And every year there are new challenges coming along. So basically it's a reaction to the new technologies and embracing radically different traditions and taking into consideration different traditions in order to find the best way to deal with it in our life world.
Yeah, and to evolve and everything. So, okay. And so how does posthumanism relate to transhumanism? Like you explained the difference, but how do they relate and connect
Actually,
to one
what
another?
critical posthumanism and transhumanism stress, well, they do have different pedigrees, different cultures, different backgrounds. What both of them have in common, both talk about emerging technologies, with a different goal, but this is a central focus. And in addition, actually, they have a common starting point. And the starting point is they move beyond the traditional understanding of who we are as human beings. Sort of the traditional understanding going back to the humanist tradition in which we saw ourselves as having an immaterial soul and a material body, sort of this categorically dualist separation, two substances. This is something which both of these traditions see critical. Most members of both traditions see as critical. So it's a Darwinian turn. Darwin, Nietzsche have strongly been responsible of embracing a new understanding of who we are as human beings. And this is what most members of these two cultural traditions have in common.
Okay, so you explained the relations between the two, and can you tell me how you expect the future, and what do you expect the future to be like regarding of transhumanism and posthumanism?
I mean, the most important aspect is to tackle about how emerging technologies affect us as human beings. So one option is using gene technologies to step beyond the boundaries of who we are. CRISPR-Cas9, genome editing are extremely promising, so that's central technology for taking it into consideration. Then cyborg technologies, which means chips are entering our bodies. Mm-hmm. So we're becoming more and more cyborg. We've always been cyborgs. So, but in the end, it's a way of RFID chips entering our bodies so that we can interact also with smart cities. Everything receives a smart chip, an RFID chip, and so we all get upgraded. That's the second step. A third step is the option of our personalities becoming digital ones, our personalities getting uploaded on a computer. I see this as very critical. I don't see it very plausible. And the fourth option concerning a new way of thinking about us as human beings is a new conceptualization of us as human beings, a new moral understanding. So it's no longer that it's just humans who possess dignity or just humans who possess personhood, but also non-human animals mm-hmm. could receive personhood. Maybe the ones who are also particularly prone to suffering. Mm-hmm. That's a radical conceptual change concerning who we should take into consideration as moral beings.
Okay, well, thank you for answering my questions, and thank you for organizing this conference.
It's been my pleasure.